All right, let's get right into it. When you think about negotiation, you probably picture a battle of words, right? Where the loudest person, the one with the most to say, usually wins. But what if that's all wrong? Today, we're going to flip that idea on its head and look at a secret weapon that could totally change how you handle these conversations.
Just let that sink in for a second. We live in a world that's constantly telling us to speak up, to make our voice heard, to dominate the room. But what if the real power, the real advantage, comes from what you don't say? That's the big question we're digging into here.
So first things first, let's talk about a huge mistake that so many people make. To really get why this secret weapon works, we have to start by looking at the one flawed assumption pretty much everyone walks in with. Come on, we've all been there. You get this feeling that if you can just make one more point, throw out one more piece of data, or just talk a little louder and faster than the other person, you'll get what you want. The game plan is to fill every single second of silence with your own voice. But, well, there's a major problem with that approach. And here it is, the powerful reality that completely turns that whole belief upside down. In any negotiation, saying less can actually get you more. I know, it feels totally backward, but it's the bedrock of a way more effective strategy. So let's break down how this actually works. So how do you do it? The trick is to start seeing silence in a whole new light. It's not something to be afraid of or to rush through. It's a tool. It's a strategic space. And really, this all comes down to a crucial mental shift. For most of us, a pause in the conversation feels, well, awkward. It's this uncomfortable void that we feel this primal urge to fill immediately. But for an expert negotiator, they see it completely differently. To them, it's a strategic space where the real work gets done. Now, this isn't just about being quiet for the sake of it. Not at all. Strategic silence is a deliberate move. You're intentionally creating a vacuum in the conversation, one that human nature just can't resist filling. And the process itself, it's almost shockingly simple. You make your point, or you ask a key question, and then you just stop. You go quiet. You create that space. And you know what happens next? They start talking. They fill that gap, and in doing so, they often reveal what they really care about, their hidden concerns, or valuable information you never would have gotten otherwise. But, just creating that silent space is only half the battle. What you do at that space, that's what gives you the real edge. And this brings us to the decisive advantage of listening. We usually think of listening as a passive thing, right? Like you're just waiting for your turn to talk again. But real, active listening, it's a weapon. It's an offensive tool. It's where you gather all the intel you need to actually navigate the conversation successfully. Because when you're truly listening, you're not just hearing their words. You're paying attention to what they don't say. You're noticing the hesitations, the topics they dance around. This gives you the full picture, and it lets you adapt your entire strategy right there in the moment based on what you're actually learning. And that right there is the ultimate power of this whole thing. By simply listening with intensity, you're actually guiding the conversation. You're gathering information, you're building trust, and you're doing it all without saying a word. It's influence in its purest, most powerful form. All of this leads to the final, and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about changing your goal from trying to convince the other person to simply trying to understand them. Think about it. Most of us go into these situations with one goal: convince the other person that we're right and they're wrong. We've got our arguments lined up, our rebuttals ready, we're there to win the debate. But the truly great negotiators, the ones who use silence and listening as their primary tools, they have a completely different goal. They're not there to convince, they're there to understand. Because they know a powerful secret. Once you truly understand where the other side is coming from, finding a solution that works for everyone becomes 10 times easier. And look, this isn't some new age trick, this is ancient wisdom. As Confucius put it, silence is a friend who never betrays. Think about that. Your own words can sometimes be twisted or used against you, but silence only ever works for you. It protects you while revealing what you need to know. So, let's bring this all home. The next time you walk into a negotiation or a tough meeting, or even just a difficult family conversation, ask yourself this one simple question. What's my real goal here? Is it just to win the argument, or is it to get the best possible outcome? Because the path to that outcome, well, it might just be through saying nothing at all. What do you think?